He begged them to stop. He asked them, "Why are you doing this to me?" And I can't imagine what that poor kid went through in the last hours of his life. My son packed his bags and left my house to go to his dad's house. We exchanged a few text messages, and that was the last communication that I had directly with him. When I woke up the next day, I saw that he had texted me at 3:41 in the morning, and it said, "Mother, I love you."
She had no idea she'd never hear his voice again.
I texted him right away at 6 a.m. and he didn't respond. I sent him another text that said, "Are you okay?" And at that point I knew that Jordan should be awake and responding to me, but he didn't. At this point I panicked and I reach out to his girlfriend at school and say, "Is Jordan there?" And she said no. And at that point I knew that something was wrong. I texted Jordan's dad and said, "Is Jordan at home?"
That nagging doubt in her gut was screaming that something was wrong.
And 9 minutes later, he called me. And as soon as I saw the phone call and not a text, I knew it. And all he said to me was, "Jordan's gone." And I said, "No, no, no." And my legs went numb and nothing seemed real at that moment.
She described what happened that tragic night. No one could have predicted this cruel twist of fate for poor Jordan.
He was a victim of extortion. Extortion is when a picture or a video is shared and someone asks money not to share that with other people. In Jordan's situation, he was being contacted by an alleged girl on social media. Just normal kid conversation. Started around just after 10 o'clock at night. It went on for 6 hours. Then it came down to, "Send me a picture of yourself. I'll send one of me." And once he shared an image with them, that was it. They demanded $1,000 from him, or they were going to send this to all of his friends, followers, family.
The boy was trapped in a corner and couldn't see another way out of the situation.
He didn't have $1,000. He had $300, and they were like, "Fine, send that." But it wasn't enough. And this kept going, and they made him do things and show him things within a certain time period. There was a deadline for him doing things, or else we're going to do this. They were building collages of his photos and making it look like they were sending it, or that they had sent it out to his friends' moms. And when Jordan said, I'm going to unalive myself, they said, "Good, do that now or we're going to make you do it." And they made him believe that that was the only choice he had in those moments.
Jordan's mum is using her grief, all that pain, to warn other parents and protect other children.
I can't save Jordan, but hopefully his story can save another child and another family from going through what we have been going through. And this happened so fast. This was in 6 hours, less than 6 hours. They got to him in the middle of the night where he's alone in the dark and scared. After I hung up with Jordan's dad, I went through complete shock. Nothing was real to me at that point. I didn't know what to do. I messaged a coworker and said, "Jordan's..." It was almost like she didn't believe me because Jordan was the office child, right? Like, he hung out at the office. He loved everybody there. My husband came home. When he got home, he didn't realize that Jordan was gone. It took me 9 minutes to get through to him on the phone and tell him to come home. I had to call my parents, which was the worst thing in the world. And by 2 p.m. that day, I was planning my son's funeral, which was unimaginable. After we left that meeting, Jordan's girlfriend contacted me and she was like, "Hey, where's Jordan's phone? I got this message, and this is someone that I think was talking to Jordan the night before."
Despite her grief, she knew that information could help catch the criminals. She acted immediately.
About 12 hours later, law enforcement came to us and they said, "We think this is a case of extortion." The overwhelming message that I am getting from parents, I'm seeing it in comments, I'm getting personal messages, is that this is happening to their children. It's happening, I think, far more than we are even realizing or talking about. They were able to get the transcript of the conversations that took place between Jordan and this other individual. And they said, "Hey, do you want to do a press release and use Jordan's name?" And we were like, "Absolutely, we want to do that," for a couple of reasons. One, we wanted other parents to know about financial extortion. And we were sure if we didn't know about it, then other parents may not know about it either.
This was such an eye-opening case. She knew that they needed to educate the country on the dangers of online extortion.
About this happening to Jordan, everybody was wondering why. Why would this kid who had so much of life in front of him, why would he do this? And we wanted to give them these answers so that could, help them with their healing and what they needed to do to process Jordan being gone. For the next 13 months, law enforcement investigated this case, and a lot of people would ask us, hey, what's going on with things with Jordan? And we didn't have any information to tell them besides it's an ongoing investigation. I had maybe a couple people say to me, oh, they're never going to find the people that did this because normally they're in another country and they're just never going to find them. That wasn't true in Jordan's case. 13 months later, we got information that we had never seen or been told before. 3 men from Nigeria were arrested and indicted on multiple charges.
Her valuable input helped catch these vicious criminals, but the saga wasn't over yet.
The United States. Some of the other things that we heard for the first time were their names, the ages, the charges, and a little bit, just a snippet of some of the conversation that took place between Jordan and this individual. And by the way, the account that these people were using, it was they paid for this hacked social media account through Instagram and used that persona to pretend to be a female. Part of the conversation that was released was where Jordan says, I'm going to unalive myself right now because of you. The individual responds, good, do that fast or I'll make you do it, I swear to God. And that's all in the indictment that can be looked up and read.
She was so brave, reliving this haunting trauma to deliver justice to those who wronged her family. But this was just the start.
So I had to push that out of my mind for the moment while I spoke, and I had to revisit it later and process the things that we knew were said. From day one, for me as a parent, all I wanted to know is, what did they say to Jordan? What was this conversation? What did they threaten him with that made him so scared? And we got that little snippet that day. Because the case is ongoing, I still don't know everything that was said. Hopefully someday I will be able to know the full context, but I don't know if I will, and I don't know if that'll be happening. What we also learned is that these individuals, it is alleged that they targeted over 100 people in a short time period, like a year and a half, 2 years. So for these few individuals to target that many people, that's a lot.
Months later, she had an update on the case. Things were looking up.
2 individuals pled guilty to charges for what happened to my son Jordan. This week, Bloomberg Business Week printed an article, a really in-depth story about financial extortion with an S and details about what happened to Jordan. Go and get your kids, read this article, sit down and talk about this with your children. There are some very disturbing details in here. No child should have to go through the torture that my son went through that night, and no parent should have to live every day waking up without their child here. It talks about the details of what these extortionists said to my son, how they gained his trust, how they used all of his assets against him. He had a girlfriend, he played sports, and all of those things made him vulnerable. And I'm telling you that this is still happening every single day to kids, where they're just asking for a picture of your face but putting it on an explicit image.
It's terrifying how easily they can defame you. Luckily, the case surrounding Jordan was going well.
The 5th person that was involved in the money laundering in my son Jordan DeMay's case. His name is Mr. Green. He is the person who did take my son's money. He took $300 from my son. The defense argued that there should not be any restitution paid for this. Mr. Green did make a statement saying he was sorry to his family, that he let down his community, and he was sorry to my family for the loss of Jordan. He was sentenced sentenced to 8 months of confinement, 2 years of probation, the restitution of about $47,000, and then a monetary penalty of $21,505 for monies that went through his account. And also, he did have a bond violation. So he is the only person that's actually going to be serving confinement time. I did speak at it and noted to the judge that there was no sentence that was going to change my life, but there needed to be some accountability and hold these people responsible for what they're doing, sending a message that there are consequences for these actions.